Listen attentively, men over 60. It's not because you're getting old if you wake up in the morning feeling like your manhood has died and you no longer have the natural strength you once relied on. Here's the real shock. Your body is still in good condition. You didn't lose your erections forever. They've only gone quiet. And with the right touch, they can be reawakened. I'm Dr. Talia Monroe, a urologist with over 30 years of experience helping men regain their confidence, intimacy, and vitality. With nothing more than their own hands, their own breath, and just a few minutes each day, I've seen thousands of men in their 60s and 70s reclaim what they thought was lost. All without dangerous medications or surgery. Here's the paradox. Most men believe their erections are gone for good as they age. But both science and experience tell us something very different. Your manhood, your blood vessels, your nerves, they're still capable deep down. The key isn't a pill or a pump. It lies in 3 overlooked spots on your body, hidden switches that control blood flow and performance. Press them the right way, and your mornings will never be the same. That's my promise to you today. By learning these 3 pressure points and weaving them into your daily routine, you can restore blood flow, sensitivity, and your natural morning erections without shame, without dependence, and without fear. Stay with me, because in just a moment I'll walk you through each point in detail, how to find them, and the simple habits that make them work for you. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss more science-based advice for men over 60. And one more thing. If this message resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Type yes if it does, type 0 if it doesn't, so I can keep improving these lessons for you. Let's start with the first and most crucial truth now. Age alone does not cause erections to go away. In actuality, your body's natural blood and nerve signal routes simply become quieter, and once you realize this, everything else begins to shift. First, the reality of erections and aging. Let me explain. I want every man over 60 to understand this clearly. Losing morning erections does not mean that you are irreparably wounded or broken. It's not proof that you've lost your manhood. The reality is far more straightforward and far more optimistic. Your body still knows how to get out of bed in the morning. Your nerves have not died. Your blood vessels can still carry energy and flow. Your manhood is still waiting for you. The signals have just become quieter over time. The switches that used to turn on so easily are now resting. The blood and energy carrying routes? They're simply not in use right now. I can't tell you how many men in my clinic have dropped their voices and asked me, "Doc, is something wrong with me?" And I look them straight in the eye and tell them nothing is wrong with you. Your body just needs to be reminded of what it already knows. You see, losing function does not equal aging. Your abilities don't vanish as you get older. The signs that once came so easily are just easier to forget. Imagine a room in your house you haven't entered in years. The electricity still works. The wiring is still intact. But because you haven't flipped the switch in so long, the room stays dark. That doesn't mean there's no power. It only means the connection hasn't been activated. And that's exactly how erections work. The current is still inside you. It's just been a while since you turned on the switch. I remember a 74-year-old man named Harold. He came to me with tears in his eyes and said, "Doc, I don't even care about sex anymore. I just want to wake up one morning and feel alive again." That moment struck me deeply, because it revealed what so many men are truly searching for. Not just an erection, but the confidence, dignity, and vitality that come with it. And here's the truth. After practicing what I showed him for only a few weeks, Harold called me and said, "I woke up this morning and for the first time in 10 years, I felt like myself again." You see, erections don't vanish because you're too old. They fade because no one ever taught you how to maintain those channels, how to keep sending the signals. But here's the good news. Those channels can be reopened. They're waiting inside of you right now, ready to respond the moment you give them the time and attention they deserve. And this is where the fun begins. Because there are 3 secret locations on your body that function like hidden switches. When you press them correctly, with the right breath, the right touch, and the right intention, sensitivity returns. Blood begins to flow, and your body effortlessly remembers what it used to do. Let me show you the first of these points. It's located just above your pubic bone. Most men go their entire lives without ever touching this spot, but once they do, everything begins to change. This first point, just above the pubic bone in that small area where your pelvis meets your lower abdomen, is where I want you to begin. They consider it to be only skin and bone. In reality, however, this spot is one of the most crucial command centers of masculine vitality. I've seen it countless times when I gently press here with a patient. His eyes often widen, because suddenly, something he believed had long since vanished stirs. At first, it's faint, just a soft buzz of energy. But that hum can grow into warmth, circulation, and eventually a natural response that no medication could ever duplicate. I'll never forget a 67-year-old man named Walter. He walked into my office with a heavy, defeated look on his face. He said, "Doc, I think I've lost it. I haven't woken up strong in years." I guided his hand to that spot above his pubic bone. I told him to breathe slowly, to apply gentle pressure. Not force, just presence. Within minutes, he felt a subtle rush of warmth. His face changed. His posture straightened. And for the first time in our entire conversation, he smiled. 2 weeks later, he returned. His words were simple, but powerful. "Every morning, I feel something stirring down there again. I thought it was gone, but it's coming back." That's the power of this point. And it's not magic, it's biology. Right beneath this area run key blood vessels and nerves that supply your lower organs. Over time, when you stop engaging them, the signals grow weaker. The vessels tighten. Circulation slows. But by stimulating this spot with awareness and with breath, you are literally reminding your body to send blood and energy back to where it belongs. Think of it like knocking on a door that's been shut for too long. The moment you knock, the door opens. The pathways awaken. I always remind my patients, don't rush this practice. It's not about pressing hard or trying to force an erection in the moment. It's about re-establishing communication with your own body. Your manhood listens when you treat it with patience and care. And when that communication returns, strength follows naturally. Many men have told me that the simple act of touching this point each day gave them back not only physical response, but a sense of dignity. The deep relief of knowing their body is still alive, still capable. Now, as powerful as this first point is, it's only the beginning. Because there is another area, one that men almost never hear about. And yet, it may hold the greatest key of all. It lies in a hidden space between your scrotum and your anus. A place most men ignore. But when awakened, it can unlock a flood of circulation and sensitivity. And when you discover it, you may realize your body still has far more to give than you ever imagined. Which brings us to the second point, the perineum. This soft space between the anus and the scrotum has been recognized in Eastern medicine for thousands of years. They often call it CV1. In Western medicine, however, it's rarely mentioned. And that's a shame, because this point holds extraordinary power over a man's circulation and sensitivity. When I first began teaching patients about this area, I remember the look on their faces. Many men thought I was joking. They couldn't understand why they should focus on a place they had always ignored. But I would guide them gently. I'd ask them to sit on a small rolled towel or a soft cushion, breathe deeply, and simply allow their body to relax into it. And what often happened next was nothing short of remarkable. Within minutes, many men felt warmth in their lower body, a faint pulsing sensation, or simply the quiet awareness that something inside them was reawakening. I recall a patient named Thomas, a 71-year-old Marine veteran. He told me, "Doc, it's like the lights went out down there. I no longer feel anything." But after I showed him how to sit with light pressure on his perineum, no pushing, no straining, just quiet presence and breathing, he called me within days. His words were unforgettable. "Something's happening. I sense a pulse once more. It's weak, but I feel alive again." Weeks later, he shared that his mornings were no longer empty. Warmth had returned. Sensation was back. And even natural strength he thought was gone forever had begun to reappear. Why does this happen? Because the perineum acts like a valve. When it is tight and ignored, blood flow is blocked. Nerve signals are interrupted, and the body forgets how to send energy to the penis. But when you release that tension by sitting, breathing, and allowing gentle pressure on this point, the valve opens. Blood that has been trapped for years begins to move freely. Nerve pathways reconnect. And slowly, sensation creeps back into a place you may have believed was lost to time. It doesn't happen overnight, but even the smallest flicker of feeling can spark enormous hope. And hope changes everything. Once a man feels even a trace of life returning to his lower body, his entire mindset shifts. He no longer believes he is broken. He begins to carry himself differently. He starts to trust his body again, to realize that aging does not mean giving up on himself. This is why I believe the perineum is so vital. It is the gateway, the hidden switch most men never discover. Yet once activated, it can unlock a cascade of healing. But as powerful as this point is, there is still another. And it surprises almost every man I've ever shown it to, because it's not even on your groin. In fact, it runs along your inner thigh, in a place you've probably never connected to your erections at all. And yet, once you learn to touch it, you may find it holds the final key to restoring your strength and energy in ways you never expected. So, let's talk about the third point, the inner thigh line, the femoral pathway. This point may be the most overlooked of all. It's not on your penis. It's not directly on your groin. Yet it plays a direct role in whether or not you wake up with morning strength. This point lies along the crease of your inner thigh, right where the thigh meets the lower abdomen. Hidden beneath that soft line are the femoral artery and the femoral nerve, two of the main highways that carry blood and signals to your manhood. When these pathways are stiff, blocked, or neglected, your erections lose volume. They lose sensitivity, and they lose the natural strength that once came so easily. But when you awaken them, everything changes. Most men think of their thighs only as muscles for walking, standing, or sitting. They rarely connect them to their sexual health. I remember one patient, Earl, a 68-year-old truck driver. He had spent decades sitting behind the wheel, and by the time he reached me, he felt completely disconnected from his lower body. "Doc," he said, "I figured my thighs were just for hauling me around. I never thought they had anything to do with what happens in the bedroom." I showed him how to trace his fingertips along the inner crease, pausing at tender or tight spots, and to breathe slowly as he applied gentle pressure. At first, Earl was skeptical. He said it felt strange, even pointless. But within a week, something unexpected happened. "Doc," he told me with a grin, "I feel warmer down below. It's like the blood is moving again." By the second week, he was waking up with strength he hadn't felt in years. But what struck me most was what he added. "I don't just feel more in my body. I feel more like a man." That is the power of this hidden point. It doesn't just restore circulation. It restores confidence, control, and the quiet dignity of knowing your body still responds to you. The science here is simple, yet profound. The femoral artery is a direct pipeline of blood flow to the lower organs. The femoral nerve is one of the main highways for sensation. If those pathways become restricted, no pill on earth can fully compensate. But when you gently press, massage, and breathe into this area, you release tension. You improve flexibility. You open the road back up. You invite blood to flow freely again. And you remind your nervous system that connection still exists. Many men I've worked with notice more than just stronger erections when they awaken this inner thigh line. They report sleeping more deeply, feeling calmer in the mornings, even walking with more energy in their legs. It's as if the whole lower body wakes up, carrying with it the manhood that had been waiting quietly for its turn to rise again. Now you've discovered all 3 points: the pubic bone, the perineum, and the inner thigh line, each one acting like a switch to restore your natural strength. But pressing these points alone is only part of the story. Because if your body's foundation is weak, the results may fade. That is why I want to share with you a set of daily habits. Small, but powerful. Habits that transform these techniques from a quick spark into a lasting fire. And once you hear them, you'll understand why men who practice them not only wake up harder, but live with more energy, vitality, and peace than they ever imagined. 5. Why these points work. Science made simple. By now, you may be wondering why these 3 points, above the pubic bone, the perineum, and along the inner thigh, make such a difference. What is really happening beneath the skin when you press, breathe, and bring awareness to them? The answer is not mystery or magic. It's simple science, combined with the wisdom of reconnecting to your own body. Erections are nothing more than the result of 2 systems working together: blood flow and nerve signals. When those systems are strong and open, you wake up hard every morning without even thinking about it. When they are blocked or neglected, morning strength fades. Not because the ability is gone, but because the communication has been interrupted. Think of your body as a city filled with highways. The arteries are the roads that carry traffic. The nerves are the power lines that light up the city. If a road is blocked, the cars can't get through. If the power lines grow weak, the lights go dim. But when you clear the roads and restore the current, the whole city wakes up again. That is exactly what these points do. The point above the pubic bone reawakens circulation deep in the pelvis, sending fresh blood down to the organs that depend on it. The perineum acts like a valve, releasing the flow that may have been trapped for years and reconnecting nerves that had fallen silent. And the inner thigh line opens the main highway, allowing blood and signals to surge freely toward your manhood once again. I have seen men who thought they were finished, men who believed age had taken everything from them, discover that within weeks of stimulating these points, warmth, sensation, and strength returned. I think of Leonard, 69 years old, who once told me, "Doc, I don't care about sex anymore. I just want to know my body still responds." After learning to activate these points, he called me one morning with a voice full of life. "It happened," he said. "I woke up hard. No pills, no tricks, just me." The joy in his voice told me everything. It wasn't just about the physical change. It was about dignity, confidence, and the deep relief of knowing he was still whole. And the science supports what these men feel. When blood flows freely, nitric oxide is released. The vessels expand. Sensitivity increases. When nerves are reawakened, the brain begins to send stronger signals, and the response below is immediate. You don't need to fight your body. You simply need to remind it of the pathways it already knows. And once you do, your mornings transform from emptiness into proof of life. But here's the key. While the points are powerful, they are not the full answer. Think of these points as the switches that flip the lights back on. Yet, If the wiring of the house is corroded, the lights may flicker or fade. To make the change last, to keep the current flowing for years to come, you need to strengthen the foundation your body depends on. That is where a few simple daily habits make all the difference. Habits so small they may surprise you, yet so powerful they can turn these techniques into a permanent part of your life. And once you learn them, you'll realize that the secret to lasting strength is not in what you do once, but in what you choose to do every day. 6. The supporting habits 5 daily boosters. Now that you understand why these 3 points work, let me share something that makes all the difference. Pressing the points alone can spark powerful changes. But if you want those changes to last, if you want to keep waking up every morning with strength that feels natural, you need to support them with a few simple habits. These are not complicated routines or heavy exercises. They are small, daily practices that build the foundation for your erections to thrive. And when I say small, I mean so simple that many men dismiss them at first. Yet those who commit find their results multiply tenfold. The first habit is breathing. Not the shallow, quick breathing that most of us do without thinking, but deep, slow belly breathing. I've seen men lower their blood pressure, relax their blood vessels, and increase their nitric oxide, all from just 5 minutes a day of mindful breathing through the nose, into the belly. One man told me, "Doc, I didn't believe something so simple could matter. But after a week, I noticed my body felt calmer, and in the mornings, my response was stronger." Breathing reconnects you to life itself, and your manhood feels that. The second habit is hydration. And not just any hydration, but starting your day with a glass of warm water. After a long night, your blood becomes thicker. Drinking warm water thins it gently and helps circulation flow freely, especially to the parts of your body that matter most. It's a small act, but one that primes your system for strength. The third habit is reducing sugar, particularly in the evening. I know the comfort of dessert after dinner, but sugar quietly damages the lining of your blood vessels. Every bite makes it harder for your arteries to heal. And weaker arteries mean weaker erections. I've had patients who simply cut out their nightly ice cream, and within weeks, they noticed their morning erections were fuller because their vessels could finally recover. The fourth habit is movement. You don't need to run marathons or lift heavy weights. All it takes is a short, light walk after dinner. That walk activates your body's natural venous pump, the mechanism that pushes blood back up to your heart and keeps it circulating evenly. It's gentle, it's safe, and it makes a profound difference in how blood reaches your lower body overnight. The fifth and final habit is about how you treat your body. If you rush through the points with frustration or impatience, your nervous system resists. But if you approach them with care, with respect, as though you are tending to something sacred, your body listens. This isn't New Age talk. This is the reality of how the nervous system responds to presence. Together, these 5 habits form the foundation that turns 3 simple points into a lifelong practice. They are the reinforcements that keep your results from fading. The daily acts that tell your body, I still value you. I still trust you. But if you're still wondering whether these practices truly work, you are not alone. Many men feel skeptical in the beginning. That is why the next part is so important. Because I want to share with you the real stories of men just like you, men who put these methods into practice and discovered changes they never thought possible. 7. Real stories, real hope. Whenever I speak about these methods, I know there are men listening who nod politely, but remain unconvinced. They wonder if these techniques are too simple, if the results are too good to be true, or if they are somehow the exception, the man who will not respond. I understand that doubt, because I've sat across from hundreds of men who felt the same way. But what I've witnessed over the years has taught me something powerful. When a man commits to these practices, no matter his age, his body finds a way to respond. And the transformations I have seen are not just physical. They are deeply personal, restoring dignity, confidence, and connection in ways that are difficult to put into words. Take Harold, a 74-year-old retired postal worker from Minnesota. He came to me exhausted from trying every pill and remedy he could find. "Doc," he said, "I don't need to feel 20 again. I just want to wake up one morning and feel like I still matter." His words carried the weight of loneliness and disappointment, the same quiet burdens so many men carry. I taught him the 3 points, encouraged him to be patient, reminded him that his body was not broken. 3 weeks later, he called me, his voice trembling. "It happened," he said. "I woke up this morning with strength, natural strength, for the first time in over a decade." It wasn't just his erection that returned that day. It was his sense of being alive, of being whole. Then there was Leonard, 69 years old. He told me he no longer cared much for sex. "I only want to know my body can still respond," he confessed. He didn't have high expectations going in. But soon, he sensed warmth, sensitivity, and a gentle heartbeat that he thought had vanished forever. Then one morning, he woke up, felt his body respond, and messaged me. "I know I'm not done yet, document. There is still life in me." For him, that moment was pivotal. It showed him his manhood had not been erased by age. I also can't forget Earl, the truck driver who had been behind the wheel for decades. His body was exhausted and rigid. After discovering how to activate the inner thigh line, he experienced more than just better erections. Even he was amazed by the vitality in his legs and the calm in his mornings. He said, "I feel more in control. Once again, I feel like a man." These stories are about more than morning erections. They're about the restoration of confidence, dignity, and hope. Men who once looked in the mirror with defeat began to stand taller. They slept deeper, walked with more energy, and lived with the realization that their bodies were not finished, that they could still feel alive, that they still had more to offer. Even though these stories are powerful, I have one more thing to teach you. Perhaps the most important lesson of all. The one principle that makes the difference between a fleeting improvement and a transformation that lasts for life. 8. The final lesson: commitment. After decades of working with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, one fact stands above all the rest. Attempting something once does not lead to real transformation. You cannot expect a miracle after a few minutes of point pressing. Commitment is the key. Arriving with patience, with presence, every single day. That's how practice becomes ritual. That's how a spark becomes a flame. And that is how a man recovers something he believed was lost long ago. I have seen men learn the 3 points, feel a wave of optimism, only to fall back into doubt once they stopped practicing. And I have seen men change not just their mornings, but their entire lives, by turning these practices into a daily ritual of self-respect. Their age did not set them apart. Their medical history did not set them apart. The only difference was their consistency. They made the decision to give their bodies the respect they deserve. By setting aside a few minutes each day to breathe, press, and re-establish connections. And with those little moments, the narrative of their manhood was gradually rewritten. I want you to realize something important. Seeking youth is not the goal here. Trying to go back in time or act like you're 25 again is not the point. It's about entering this phase of life with courage, with dignity, and with self-assurance. It's about telling your body, "I still believe in you. You still have my trust. I won't leave you." And you'll be surprised at how your body reacts when you do that. When you make these approaches a daily routine, you'll be stronger when you wake up. You'll sleep better. And you'll carry a confident, tranquil demeanor that people can't help but notice. I think of Harold, who found possibility in the middle of sorrow, and Walter, who once said to me, "Doc, I feel like I've been given back a part of myself I thought was gone." Then there's Leonard, who discovered joy simply in knowing his body could still respond to him. These men were not trying to be young again. They were reclaiming their place, their dignity, their bond with life. That's the lesson I want you to carry. Pressing a few points once and hoping for a miracle is not the answer. It's about making the daily choice to reestablish connection, to breathe, to touch patiently, to trust that your body still has power because it does. And when you use that power consistently, it will reward you in ways far beyond your erections. It will reshape the way you see yourself as a man. Now, let's bring it all together. Because the research, the stories, the habits, and the points all lead to one conclusion. Your prime is not behind you. It's here, waiting to be awakened. So take a moment. Think about what you've learned. Maybe you began this video doubting yourself, wondering if your best days were gone. But now, you know the truth. Your body is still strong. Your manhood is still alive. And age does not decide when you stop feeling like a man. You've discovered 3 simple points: the pubic bone, the perineum, and the inner thigh line. Hidden switches waiting for you to turn them back on. You've discovered 5 daily habits: breathing deeply, drinking warm water, reducing sugar, gentle evening walks, and approaching your body with respect. That transforms sparks of change into lasting strength. And you've heard the stories of real men, Harold, Leonard, Earl, who once thought it was all over, but found dignity, vitality, and pride again. And now, I'm thinking about you. Yes, you. The man listening right now. Because inside you, the same fire still burns. The same silent desire to wake up, to feel alive, to know your body still belongs to you, and still responds to you. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming what was always yours, but may have gone silent for too long. Every time you breathe deeply, every time you choose water over sugar, every time you walk instead of sitting still, and every time you press those points with patience and care, you're saying, "I honor my body. I will not give up on my body. I trust it." And your body will answer you. Because real transformation doesn't come from one single action. It comes from showing up with care and intention every single day. That's how men like Walter, Thomas, and countless others reignited their mornings, rebuilt their confidence, and restored their sense of self. And that's how you can do the same. The power you're searching for is already inside you. It has always been there. You simply need to awaken it. So, as we close, I want you to make this personal. Decide to start tonight when you lie down, or tomorrow morning when you wake. Take a deep breath. Find the points. Reconnect. Because when you do, you'll discover what so many men before you have found. That you are still in your prime. It's alive, it's ready, and it's waiting for you to claim it. And when you do, you won't just wake up harder. You'll wake up stronger. You'll wake up prouder. And you'll wake up closer to the man you truly are.